Good morning to you all, friends. Happy Sunday. Welcome. Mossy's going to put my hair up in a weird hairstyle on stream, aren't you, Moss?
Not today. It's too wet.
What?
It's too wet.
It's not raining outside. Good one. This and this is what we continue working on. And yes, so let's do that. Let us do that indeed. Alexa, airbrush on. Doo-ding. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, this model is sensational. Mossy's into the solo already.
It's a beer, mate.
I thought that was going to be a shared experience, but no, you're diving in early. We need to finish this right quick as a flash, because on Tuesday it looks as though we will have some new Kingdom Death expansions. Hello, Paint Liquor. Yes, it's very exciting to have the next couple of expansions arriving on Tuesday. So we've got all of the Wanderers, we've got the Red Witches, and we've got the Pariah all coming Tuesday. Yes, yes indeed. Yeah, just jazzed. Absolutely jazzed. So I'll be, as I always do, with my KDM stuff, we'll be focused on painting the models before we play any of the game. Which is cool. So yeah, the Pariah, the Red Witches models is great. So I've decided, I promised a guy from the Kingdom Death Discord about 2 years ago that I was going to make a video, and I've done fucking absolutely nothing on it. I've thought about it, but I have not done anything on it. So I am going to, Alexa, airbrush off. I am going to use the arrival of the Red Witches for an opportunity to make a proper painting video on a topic that I've been wanting to make a video for that guy in a little while. We're doing some blue tufts. And what is that topic, Dano? It is the topic of saturation and how to paint a saturated colour. Alexa, airbrush off. And that topic dives into quite a few areas of the painting spectrum. So we're going to talk about value, we're going to talk about colour. And the reason we're using the Red Witches is because red is one of the colours that is most challenging to get value painting, value out of. Very, very difficult to get a high value red. I don't reckon I'm going to use this colour again of these tufts for anything serious, so I reckon we might just go ballistic. Hey, hey, you, I don't like your girlfriend. Yes, I too am looking forward to it. The Red Witches are beautiful models, but they have red cloaks, and that is something that we will very heavily want to adhere to. And so it's a great opportunity for us to talk about painting red. Hey, hey, you, I don't like your girlfriend, no way, think you need a new one. Yep, red cloaks and some beautiful skimpy clothes. Oh yeah, I like that. Hey, yeah. Cool, so we'll highlight that with the blue-green colour, and that should look pretty good. Alright, do I want to tweak that with an airbrush? Yeah, we might just do a little smidge of my duck egg green colour. Just a wee little bobby dazzle of duck egg green. Alexa, airbrush on. Ba-ding. So I was not expecting the expansions to ship this quickly, so I'm very appreciative of that. In fact, I actually ordered it for a board game coming next week that's not even going to get a look in. It's going to get absolutely zero look in. Yeah, Australia does tend to get stuff pretty frequently early, so that's cool. Oh yeah, you can paint your tufts, by the way. Cool. I got Percival. Great model. She's on my list to paint. There's a lot of models on my list to paint. I've trimmed it down though. We're making really good headway with the the amount of expansion models that I've purchased that I need to paint for Kingdom Death. So I always paint the monsters and I assemble the survivors, but then I don't paint the survivors until I get around to it. So we did Skrell the other day, which is this chick, which is cool. I just need to tweak her face because her face is bad, but I will just glue down some tufts. Oh, that's cool. I've got fade as well. Yeah. That's nice. Alexa, airbrush off. Skrell. Cool. Just needs a little tweaking. That's my biggest issue with both of those models that you've discussed, Percival and Fade. They are both very noticeably scale different. Like here's some of the latest releases. This is Lucy with a ninja star, which is cool. And then here is one of the Echoes range. So they're already different, and this was an upgrade on Percival and Fade. So Percival and Fade even smaller. They have a lore reason for that, which is quite cool, but I think for the majority of people, just that's yeah. Point is there is a reason for it, but in the game, but most people think it's scope creep. It is scope creep. I think the chicken and the egg, what came first was their scope creep, and then they decided, yeah, actually there's a reason why that happens. So we're sweet guys. Played a very, very good board game this week. Very good. It's called Rome, Fate of an Empire. It's a cool little card game, Mage Knight-esque, where you play as a leader of Rome, traversing around the countryside, dealing with enemies. It's very, very cool. And it comes in a tiny box for a very, very small price. So that is another big positive recommendation for it. Is the biggest survivor Kale? I don't think I've got Kale. Wasn't he a I would have said Titus. Yeah, 15th anniversary Zachary is a monster, but Titus is also very, very big. Indomitable survivor. Titus with his scythe. I have both of those. I'm going to go and grab them. Let's grab them out. Yes, these are definitely the two biggest in there. So he's taller, he's stauncher, but he's also crouching.
Mimosa.
Who?
Mimosa.
You want to bring me my solo?
No.
What is going on here? You're a stitch up. Oh, what did you think of Scythe? What did you think of Scythe? It's a great game. Are you on focus? Why are you on focus mode? So I decided I'm going to get some fluorescence happening on this model, so let's grab those out. I thought I had a fluorescent blue, but I think I've chucked it out. Yes, Charterstone has some similarities. We've got it slightly back to front, of course, because Charterstone came after Scythe. But yeah, there's definitely similarities there. Scythe is a very, unfortunately, it's a very mathematical game that my friends don't like playing with me very much. because it is one where you can kind of plan out your first 4 turns, 5 turns, because there's nothing random outside of a couple of things called encounter cards. And so we would play our games and my friends would get very unhappy because I would have my first 5 turns planned out until I reached the encounter card. And when that revealed what I got from my encounter card, I was able to then plan out the next 4 or 5 turns, do those until we got to the next encounter card, and usually by about the mid game I'd be able to go, cool, I've got 10 more turns before the game will trigger its game end, usually triggered by me. And then I would say to everyone, as we get to that very close to the end game, you've all got 2 turns to go. And then lo and behold, in 2 turns I'd place out my 6th star, the game would end and everyone would go, fuck you, Deno. And there's not many games out there that are quite as predictable's not the right word, but solvable is the way that I like to describe it. And so yeah, my friends, they don't enjoy playing it with me all that much. But they did play through the Rise of Fenris campaign, and it was great. So, yeah, Scythe. Cool game, man. Cool game. Alright, what colour is this thing going to be? So I submitted my QMHE entries on the weekend, what that would be, and the total entries is 10. This chick's one of the entries. Another one is a Roman centurion bust, which I'm gonna probably struggle now, because I was not expecting the expansions, so they shall take wondrous priority. Thank you, mate. Yeah, we'll just smash him out. A couple of days before. I'm a Porsche with no brakes. I'm invincible today. So there's quite a cold-ish vibe happening here. And I don't want to break that too much. So I think I'm going to reverse my plan that I just did there. It's not going to be yellow. I got a notification from YouTube this week that my 17-year anniversary or something like that was happening. How crazy is that? Let me see if it appears on here. Studio. Where is it? I can't find it. But anyway, it was a long time. No, they don't do anything. It was a long time, put it that way. A long, long time. And it actually shocked me when they sent me that, because I thought to myself, I did not realise that it had been that long. But yeah, I started filming YouTube videos around 2006 for a series that I did, which is actually no longer on the internet because I did it for a different channel. Did it for a channel called War Puppy Games, and the series was called A Dog's Breakfast. But it was actually called A Dog's Breakfast. A Dog's Breakfast was something that came later. So yeah, A Dog's Breakfast, which is a very funny expression that I always have liked. And it was a series where I was filming stuff of my Warhammer tournament experiences. So, a dog's breakfast, war puppy games. I filmed tournaments that I went to. Painting videos, all sorts of stuff. And that was my first foray into YouTubing. That time was a great time in my life, and it ended up in me travelling overseas to the European Team Championship for Warhammer. And that first series, which was in 2009, we created a brand new channel for that called Oz Vision 2009, and that was the channel that I filmed content for. That is still on my channel because I've since rebranded my channel as Big Deno Paints. It should probably just be Big Deno now. And the rest is history. So my first video was uploaded onto that Ozvision channel towards the end of 2009. So yeah, it was my 16 anniversary, 16 years. But technically I've been on YouTube for about probably 20, maybe. There was a big hiatus from the YouTube after Ozvision, until I got into War Machine and started filming stuff for War Machine playthroughs, and that was fun. And then we finally moved into miniature painting, and that's where we're at now. But it's crazy to think how much my life has changed over that time, and yet how I've still enjoyed putting myself behind a camera and act like a bit of a peanut. I have changed as a human being so much over that time. Very much. Hopefully for the better. But you never know. My good mates are pushing me to get back into a game that they're playing at the moment. Yeah, they're actually pushing me to get back into War Machine. Because War Machine's been picked up by Steamforged, and it's sort of taking off a bit again. So that's what they're all back into it now. Yeah, I was talking to Koki and to my mate Simon the other day, and Simon popped over to visit the new house and stuff, and we were just reflecting on what our lives used to be like back in that day, back in that time, which was you'd go to a Warhammer tournament and it would be 2 full days, it would be 6 games, and it would be just a crazy, full-on experience. And now it's like, who's got time for that anymore? Who has got time to spend a full weekend travelling away from families, etc.? I struggle with the idea of that being my weekend. Like, I want to paint models, I want to play board games, I want to do anything else And wargaming has definitely lost attractiveness for me from the perspective that I probably need to be careful with how I say this. When I play at a tournament with people that I don't know, the possibility exists that I will play a game with someone who I wouldn't normally choose to play a game with, because that person and I have different approaches to the game, approaches to life, etc. And one thing I'm sure we're all aware of is that this particular hobby of miniatures and stuff does tend to attract a crowd of less socially capable people. And so, in many ways, you're signing yourself up for an opportunity to spend time with people that you don't really want to spend time with. Now, I will also say that most of my best friends I've met through this experience of playing miniature hobby games. So it's not always the case. But if I had a choice between spending a few hours playing a board game with my best friends or spending 10 hours playing miniature games with people that I wouldn't probably spend time with 95% of the time, then it feels like a pretty easy decision for me at that point. So, yes. And I'll speak to a specific example, which is actually from the last couple of years. I got into Marvel Crisis Protocol a lot a few years ago. People may remember. Painted 120 models, played heaps of factions, had a nice time. I was playing tournaments at my local shop, and I've obviously got a very vast and extensive history of playing competitive miniature games and competing at a high level and blah 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 blah. So I would have people that I'd never met sit down at the table across from me and try to throw their weight around. I don't want to brag, but I'm pretty good at this game. Hello, Voxel. And I would, having learned it a lot now, I would always be polite. Oh, that's awesome, mate. Glad to hear. And then I would proceed to wipe the floor with those poor unfortunate souls. Poor unfortunate souls, in pain, in need. And that is what would happen there. Yes, exactly. I am quite a big deal. That used to be my tagline. So those lovely people would then get quite sad about that situation, because, as we know, nerd gamers such as ourselves, a lot of our ego and self-worth is tied up in this hobby. And so they would often be quite disappointed by that. Which would result in them having a not good experience. So yes, there was one chap, I was telling a very specific anecdote, there was one chap that I met during this game experience with Marvel Crisis Protocol where he told me that he wins everything. This is his first time coming to this tournament. What he didn't realise was that I played there and there was another guy by the name of Morgan who played there who was actually a number one in the world at Star Wars X-Wing. So this poor guy was walking into a minefield that he didn't realise. And he was getting badly beaten by me and he ended up having a bit of a tantrum about it. And that was the last time that I played at a MCP tournament. And that's a shame, because that was a cool game. But yeah, the question I was asking myself was, do I need this in my life? Like, I could be at home painting models, having a nice time. Or I could come here and watch a grown man have a tantrum. Because I'm better than him. Yep. It's a crazy thing to experience. Anyway, I hope that gentleman, wherever he finds himself, is doing okay, having a nice time. Yes, it did spoil the fun of the experience. And I don't mean that facetiously, right? I genuinely hope that guy is having a good time and has realised there's more important things in life than little toy soldiers. I had that realisation a number of years ago after I made a very bad mistake. Yeah, that's a. It always works well when I tell my girlfriend to just relax. Hey baby, relax. She always handles that very maturely and responsively. Does not happen. Let's rearrange. What colour are we going to do this girl's hair? I don't know. just a white ink. Let's see how this plan goes. Soften a bit until we all just get along. And that's disregard. Find another friend and we'll discard. You lose the arguments in a cable car. Probably would have been better with a actual white. Everyone knows I'm in over my head. There's a cool Kickstarter on right now on the wonderful internet by a Aussie sculptor named Toasty Workshop. He's got a number of painters to do paint jobs on these figures. The figures actually come with LEDs in them. It's a cool concept. As you would know, I'm quite partial to an LED myself. Let me grab you a link. Yeah, I don't know what the going rate on a miniature painter is these days. Probably should know, given that's what I am, but the guy's a good sculptor. Yeah, it's not a me thing. I have got some drop frames, 1.6. That's probably because in the background I'm uploading a couple of playthroughs on my YouTube channel as we speak. Well, look, my going rate as a painter is $50 an hour. So most of the time I can knock out a model in about 6 to 8 hours. So I'm about 300 to 400 for a figure. I think I'm on the cheaper side. So I can definitely understand that it would be difficult. Yeah, so for example, this chick's, what are we at with her? 2 hours, 1 hour, 1 hour. We're at 5 hours, 4.5 hours, I would say, on this chick. So, pretty good. Let's give her black hair, and then let's give her a stripe. I like stripes. Feel free to share a link or whatever in there, mate. No issues with sharing in this channel. Just going to put the chat box on because I realised I turned it off a little while back. Boop. There you go. I haven't turned it back on since. Robots. That's cool. They're kind of like a combination of Transformers meets Pacific Rim meets 40k. Cool stuff, man. Alrighty, let's go into this colour for our hair highlights. We need to get a doggo cam happening in here, I think. She's sleeping under the table, having a very nice time today. Yeah. Doggo cam would be a win, I think. That sound you can hear in the background is a kookaburra. That is a very Australian sound. That can be loud. That can be loud, indeed. Yeah, the funny thing is I barely hear him anymore. So that's just the sound of life in Australia. Having a kookaburra. All right. So I reckon that is just about going to do me for stuff on this colour palette, with the exception of some magenta. So I'm actually going to put her on her base now because just want to see how she's looking. So yeah, magenta in these little bits, and then trying to decide if we add scratches, what we add to that. Nice. Yeah, interesting. For whatever reason, I don't love it. Okay. Sometimes things look different to how I envisage them. And sometimes things just are bad. Because my plan was bad. It's one of the risks of doing things the way that I do it, which is just raw dogging it. So I do want to sponge some colours and texture on this base, but we're going to do that after the black. So now I'm questioning if I call it quits on this and leave it, because it's not going to be a dramatic shift from where it's at. That's something to think about. Alright, I'm actually going to pack up shop there, friends. It's been, that's a bit demoralising actually. I don't like what it looks like, so. But I'll be back tomorrow, and I'm probably going to paint a Kingdom Death Girl in preparation for some more Kingdom Death Girls that are hopefully arriving on Tuesday. Thank you all. Catch you all again very soon. Pitano out.